one of the best articles I've ever read by Lindy West, who you can follow on Twitter, and you should all thank her for this article. She's getting a lot of shit for this, which is ridiculous. It's at the Lindy, Lindy West. And she wrote for Jezebel, and it's called Female Purity is Bullshit, right? And so I just assumed it was going to be a piece about purity and how it's bullshit, which I agree with. But I was wondering why people were like freaking out about it. So I, because I had it up in my browser and I was going to get to it eventually, but I saw a ton of people freaking out about it. So it ties into what you were just saying. So God, I don't even know where to start. Okay. So this is what I assumed the piece was just going to be about. So she came across two things today that she said hurt to read. The first was a dumb collection of dumb shit written by a dummy entitled Why Good Girls Have Become as Extinct as Unicorns. In it, an anonymous male author explains that modern women are disgusting sluts who deserve to be taken advantage of. So if you manage to find a, quote, good girl, ideally by grooming her from kindergarten onward, you should legally cleave to her and imprison her in your bungalow before some other dude snatches up your prize. You can always cheat on her later when she gets boring, which she definitely will, because she's not a person, she's just a vagina. That is the mindset of the 21st century, right? So I thought it was just going to kind of go after guys for wanting these pure virgins or whatever. But this is where it goes to another level. So Elizabeth Smart, you guys all remember Elizabeth Smart?
Yes.
She was the kidnapping and rape survivor. She actually spoke at Johns Hopkins Human Trafficking Forum yesterday, and here's what she said. Smart said she felt so dirty and so filthy after she was raped by her captor, and she understands why someone wouldn't run because of that alone. Because remember, the captor used to take her out in public, and people were like, why didn't she scream? Why didn't she run away?
Again, victim blaming.
Smart spoke at Johns Hopkins Human Trafficking Forum, saying she was raised in a religious household and recalled a school teacher who spoke once about abstinence and compared sex to chewing gum. Quote, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm that chewed up piece of gum. Nobody re-chews a piece of gum. You throw it away. And that's how easy it is to feel like you no longer have worth. You no longer have value, Smart said. Why would it even be worth screaming out? Why would it even make a difference if you are rescued? Your life still has no value. So that's huge.
Yeah, that is huge.
So that shows how not only are you shaming women, not only does it make women feel like they have to act a certain way to get a man, and stuff like that. But it literally has to do with rape culture, with kidnapping, with when you have a girl who's been kidnapped for years and she is so afraid to scream out that it could rescue her.
Yeah.
But she's so worried about slut shaming? Holy shit.
A friend of mine's wife went to Catholic school, and she was saying she has like vivid memories of one of the priests giving a lesson and talking like in a really admiring way about, I guess it was a story in the Bible of a woman who killed herself after being raped, but like in an admiring way, saying like, oh, that was the right thing to do because she was dirty from being raped. Yeah. And like, she still has this memory. So yeah, religion really does a number on women.
Yeah. I also want to read this, when it comes to guys, so not religion, but when it comes to guys slut shaming, even liberal guys do this. Lindy does an amazing kind of fake interview. So she goes, you can tell something is bullshit if all the justifications for it are bullshit. By the way, I highly recommend, I'm just poorly paraphrasing this article. Go read it and share it. It's so beautifully written. It made a lot of my friends cry.
Jamie will send me the link, and I will link to it in the episode recap.
Yes. Okay, guys. So why do you feel like you want/need/deserve to settle down with a, quote, pure woman? I'm genuinely listening. Oh, it's because sluts are gross. Too vague. Do better. Well, their vaginas are real stretched out and big. No. They probably have a bunch of diseases. Easy fix. Setting aside the fact that plenty of women contract STDs from monogamous partners or during safe sex, it sounds like your real problem here is with illness, not sex. So I assume you'd be fine dating a promiscuous woman who practiced safe sex and happened to be STD free? No, because I want a girl who's traditional and family oriented. Having sex doesn't mean you don't want to have a family. It just means that you want to have sex. Yeah, but a slut is more likely to cheat on me. Really? Then why do couples in the Bible Belt have such a high divorce rate? The devil, I guess? Nope. I just can't stand the thought of her getting fucked by all those guys. So, you're about to have sex with a woman you're attracted to. You really want to have sex with her, but all you can think about is her getting pounded by tons and tons of dicks. That sounds like an entirely different issue. No, I just mean that I struggle with the same powerlessness and insecurity that all human beings do. So as a coping mechanism, I take advantage of our culture's patriarchal power structure and exercise my feelings of worthlessness by perpetuating shame-based propriety attitudes over women's bodies because I'm obsessed with controlling women's lives because I can't control my own. Oh, honey, I know. And that's perfect.
Yeah, I always like did assume that any guy who has a problem with like a partner who, you know, dated a lot of dudes before him, it's just a feeling of inadequacy, you know, like, oh shit, she has a lot of guys to compare me to.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons, you know, she points out that we catcall and that we're such scumbags, where she writes, a catcall is entirely about reminding you that you are not yours. The purity myth is entirely about reminding you that you are not yours. The fetishization of female purity in a world where catcalls are an acceptable form of communication telegraphs one thing very clearly. Quote, women, stop sexualizing yourself. That's our job, and you're taking all the fun out of it.
Right.
The sexualization of women is only appealing if it's non-consensual. Otherwise, it's, quote, sluttiness. And sluttiness is agency, and agency is threatening, and so therefore sluttiness must equal disposability. So I just thought that was so fascinating, where it's like, if we say it, it's fine. If you say it, you're a slut, and then we call you a slut.
Right.
You know, it's just this fucking lose-lose situation.
And you see the lose-lose situation and stuff, like, even if you are so clearly the victim in the situation, like these 3 poor girls who were held hostage for years and years, where immediately people were like, why weren't they screaming for help? Why were they, like, when they were outside, why didn't they see the neighbors and scream for help? And man, there are so many psychological factors when people are held hostage. There's stuff like Stockholm Syndrome. There's stuff like being terrified of your captors that they're going to fucking murder you.
Well, and there's what we talked about with this case in Ohio, where it's like, and what about other people? How about other people stepping the fuck up? How about other people seeing things that are creepy as fuck and going to say something instead of being like, well, I'm going to let that guy deal with his business.
Yeah, it's not complicated. If you see, and I hate to quote the NYPD, but if you see something, say something.
Yeah.
And then also, if you haven't seen something and a story like this comes out, don't blame the fucking victim.
Yeah, I really want you guys to read this, but I do want to read the end of this because it's so good. But there's so much more in it, and I highly recommend it. But for those of you who are not going to go read it, you should hear it. Our culture deliberately socializes women to be taken in. We condition girls explicitly, not even covertly, to believe that if they're not sexually attractive, they're nothing. They're garbage. They might as well not exist. We reinforce over and over that their attractiveness has an expiration date. So the only thing they can do is to desperately leverage that attractiveness while they can. If they resist that conditioning, we sexualize them against their will. And if they give in to that conditioning, or worse, if they are raped by a predator, we reveal the trap. Now you're a slut. And it's your fault. Now you're tainted. Now you're worse than nothing. Now you might as well not even cry out when your rapist takes you to the gas station in a wig and sunglasses. So girls, fuck all of it. If you want to. Or don't fuck any of it if you don't want to. Fuck women, fuck men, fuck no one. Point is, you get to fuck what you like, when you like, and your worth is not determined by some golden ratio of extreme boner tantalization versus minimal boner touching. Boners are not the boss of you. You are the boss of you.